Morning, learners. Today I'm going to read to you a book called I Spy by Simon Cook. So let us begin. Look at the title, I Spy. What do you think comes to your mind when you see the word I Spy? Look at the cover. What can you tell me about the cover? Is it talking about space? Or where is it? Where do you think the story is taking place? How do you know that this is at night? What do you see that tells us it is at night? What do you already know about I Spy? Were they really spies? Or were they just playing a game called I Spy? I wonder what the story is all about. Do you wonder too? Do you want to know what's happening in the story? Do you think it's a story about aliens? Or is it just a scary story? What do you think? What do you think happens in the end of the story? Can you change the end? And what will you change it to? And why? Have you ever played I Spy? What were you playing I Spy? And where did you find anything that you could find while you were playing I Spy? What do you think will happen in the end? So let us read and see what happens in the story. I spy with my little eye, said Stone. Don't tell me, cited Pebble. It begins with R, and the answer is rock. Stone and Pebble were playing in their hideout. It was a crater on their home planet, Rock 2. Wow, said Stone. You are brilliant, Pebble. How did you know? Because it's always rock, she grumbled. There's nothing else on this planet, just rocks, rocks, and more rocks. Stone picked up a rock and ate it. I love rocks, he said. I could eat them for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Pebble groaned. You do? That's all there is to eat here. Rock flakes for breakfast, rock sandwiches for lunch, roast rock with boiled rocks for dinner, and crushed frozen rock for pudding. When Pebble got home, her mum gave her a hug. What's the matter, my little rock hopper? I'm bored with rocks, cried Pebble. How can anyone be bored with rocks? Asked Mum. Rocks are 100 times more exciting than anything else. But there's nothing else, said Pebble. That's the problem. This might cheer you up, said her mum. Rock cake. Pebble crawled into bed. She tried to think of something that wasn't anything to do with rocks. Instead, she had a nightmare. She was being chased by a giant boulder, and it was trying to make her eat a big piece of rock pie. The next morning, Pebble got up early and went to the hideout. She wanted to be by herself. She lay down and looked at the dark sky. Why did they have to live on a planet that was all rock? As she lay there, she noticed something moving above her. A bright light high in the sky, and it was getting closer. It got bigger and bigger. It was some kind of a spaceship. The thing landed with a huge roar of flames. Scared, Pebble hid behind the rock and watched. So I'm going to stop reading it now, and then we are going to do some activities that you're going to do today. And let us start. Right, the first activity that I want you to do is, right, I want you to find all the speech marks from page 2 to page 5, and I want you to write it down. From page 2 to page 5, write down all the speech marks that you can see. I'm going to go through it with you so that you can see what I'm referring to as speech marks. Well, let us start. Can you see an open speech mark by the word I spy with my little eye? That's an open speech mark, and there's a closed speech mark. And what do I find here? A comma. And these are the actual words spoken by Stone. That is why we have them in an open and closed speech mark. Okay, so those were Stone's actual words. Then let's get down to the next sentence. Don't tell me are also in open and closed speech marks, and these were Pebble's actual words. Can you see? And there's a comma. I can see a full stop. I can see again open and closed speech marks and a full stop. So I want you to continue right up from page 2 to page 5. Pick up all the speech marks that you can come across and I want you to write it down. The next activity that I want you to do for me is to go back to page 2, page 3, 4, and 5. And I want you to pick out all the words that you find difficult. So let's go through some words and let's see if those words are difficult for you. I can see the word crater, brilliant, grumbled, groaned, crushed, crawled, nightmare, chased, hideout, noticed, spaceship, flames, scared, and watched. So I want you to write down all the words that you think are difficult for you. And then the next activity, I want you to take a pair of socks. I want you to put one sock in your left arm and one sock in your right arm. And you're going to pretend to be puppets. You're going to be pretending to be a pebble puppet and stone puppet. And you're going to read from page 2, 3, 4, and 5, and you're going to enact the story from page 2 to page 5 for today. And that's what I want you to do. And we will stop at page 5 for today and we will continue tomorrow.